Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Shawn and Tristan Ducross.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Warriors. We're Shawn and Tristan Ducross. We have an insane guest that is in the Warriors den. Shaniyah Carlson is in the building. Shawn, what a packed show. We also got UFC 228 breakdown. We got other MMA news. We got Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz. That date is locked in stone. They have a venue. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Shaniyah Carlson is in the building, one of the hottest young pancration fighters that is coming up right now. And she just collected another title. So let's without further ado, let's bring on... Well, you can do the introduction because you like the nickname, and then we'll go to... Let's get a little intro music going. All right, Shaniyah Carlson, a.k.a. Pain Carlson, is in the building in the Warriors Den. Shaniyah, welcome to the Sports Warriors. How you doing today? So you just collected your fourth title. What kind of emotions did you go through when you claimed your fourth title?
Collecting the fourth title for me, it was honestly really amazing because I went against one of the best opponents in the nation other than myself. Me and her were the top two, and I am right now ranked #1, and that really just showcased my ability of what I can do. And everybody knows the name now of who I am, and I like it.
When you talk about that, everybody knows who you are now. Do you get that sense when you're walking around school right now?
I do, because in school right now, after this recent fight, I've had multiple people come up to me saying congratulations, how I inspire them. I've had about maybe 50 people after my fight come up to me to take pictures with me. And to me, that's just, it's a really good feeling because I feel like I'm going somewhere with what I'm doing.
So what is it? How do you stay? Because when you're this young and you're already reaching a status that not many 15-year-olds get at this point, how do you deal with all that pressure? How do you deal with going to school? How do you deal with training and just absorbing everything that's coming at you all at once?
I think everything has its own time, its own purpose. For example, I go to school, I do what I have to do when it's supposed to be done. When I go to training time, I leave everything outside of the doors other than training and my mindset on winning, and anything that has to come for me next, that's just what I focus on.
So what is next? What's on the horizon?
Right now, we don't have anything scheduled, like, for sure, but I know in December I am going to do a Christmas parade in my hometown of Palm Springs, and I'm going to get the opportunity to meet Mike Tyson.
Wait. A Christmas parade? How do you go from pancration MMA to all of a sudden you're going to be meeting Mike Tyson in a Christmas parade? How did that ever come about?
Well, I went to a city council meeting about this past weekend, actually, and I met the mayor and his wife and all the city council people, and they invited me to go be one of the community guests, and they'll have a celebrity guest, and they wanted me to just come and join them for that.
You do realize you are 15, right? And she did just say celebrity guest, right? It goes hand in hand with what exactly we were just talking about. She's already becoming a mini celebrity in Palm Springs. Who would have thought that would have came so quick? So what is the Christmas parade? So are you done fighting for the rest of the year, or there's potential for a fight coming up, or are you just focusing now going into the next year?
I think that hopefully I can find some more fights in December. There's also a event back up in Sacramento. If they wanted me to go out there and defend my belt, I'd like to do that. I also plan on going after the 100 belt, and in December that's what my goal is. I don't know if the fight will be accepted because from the girl who has the 100 weight bracket belt right now, and if not, then I'm just going to focus on doing myself, and whatever comes next, then that's what will happen, I guess.
So right now you're the 110 California USFL champion, the 110 national champion, the 115 California USFL champion, and now you won the 115 Panda Cup champion. But now you want to drop down to 100?
Yeah, I want to go down to 100 because right now I'm in the middle of both weight brackets where I can make either weight divisions, and there's no one for me to fight right now in the 110 weight bracket anymore. No one in the 115 and the 105. I've cleared out everyone in all the weight brackets. So before I gain any more weight or anything, I want to go take the 100 weight pound bracket.
So what I'm hearing is her version of becoming Demetrius Johnson of let's clean house, but unlike Demetrius Johnson, she's like, I'll just go collect all the belts and call it a day. I'll clean out everything and then channel her inner Conor McGregor and just say who wants next. So as a 15-year-old going through pancreation, going through life, what has that been like to actually go through life as well as being a fighter? What kind of transition have you had to make personally to actually make this dream come true?
I have to limit a lot of my time with my friends, my family. I go to school. As soon as I get home from school, I usually take about an hour nap. I eat, and then my dad or my mom, either one of them, they'll take me down to practice. I'll be down there until about 9:30, get back home, do my homework, wake up the next day, and then it's repetitive for the rest of the week. Saturdays and Sundays, I like to call those my cardio days. I'll go running, and there's a trail called the Bump and Grind. I'll go to the tramway out there, and I'll go do just cardio days, or I'll go to the gym throughout the week. And so it just, honestly, it limits down my time with my family and friends. But after the fights are over and during the fights, I get to have all my family and my friends there. So I feel like I'm really impressing them, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm doing something right.
Do you like making your parents and your family proud by doing this?
I really do like making my parents and my family proud, even my friends. And for me, most importantly, just making proud God most.
Or what motivated you? What was the first thing that you had to do to get into MMA? What was the very first thing that you're like, you know what, I have to do this?
I started self-defense. I started for self-defense, and karate is what I originally started, karate taekwondo, and I really liked it. And one day the gym closed down when I was about 10 maybe, and I dropped out of it for a couple of years, and I told my dad that I wanted to get into it again, and we were looking for places around the valley, and one day we found that, and I was still just doing it as self-defense. Then my coach asked me if I'd like to go watch one of the Pancration Kid fights, and from there I just fell in love with it, and I tried it out one day and haven't stopped since then.
So you just went in and started figuring out, you know what, I want to do self-defense, and that's one of those things that I like the reasoning why young fighters get involved, because you've been now one of many we've gotten a chance to interview, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of people started getting into MMA is self-defense. And you're now with, I believe you say, Keyhon MMA. How have they been with absorbing you into their family and teaching you that next level in understanding the MMA side of the pancration and the do's and don'ts of that? Because a lot of people don't know that there are rules and restrictions in pancration. How has it been with adjusting to those strict kind of guidelines?
It's okay. I'd rather go and do face shots in the fighting. I train face shots with everyone at the gym, and realistically in 2 years from now I'm going to be able to do face shots. So it's just, I find pancration as one of the stepping stones to the real deal.
And talk about the real deal. Your last fight that you were on in NorCal, and UFC Fight Pass kind of been around there. And I heard that your fight is going to be one of the ones that are going to be picked up on Fight Pass. What does that mean to you, and how did that whole entire situation come about?
Insert mini celebrity. That's what I'm saying.
So what happened is one day I was going to actually take a break from fighting, not for permanently, just for like a couple months or a month or so I can just have time to myself and stuff. And my coach calls me and my parents and tells us that UFC wants to do it was a documentary for a tribute to Ronda Rousey, and they wanted me to take place and another girl, Leah, and they wanted ours to be the star fight of the documentary or the tribute. And I said yes, and I had a month to train and prepare for that fight, and we went to Sacramento and did exactly what we thought was going to happen.
It ended up being the exact outcome that they had planned. And when I saw that, I was like, man, again, it comes back down to, how do you find the ability? Is it because of the family aspect that you have with your dad and everybody else that keeps you so grounded?
I think just that I'm a very disciplined person, and I always have told myself, if you want something, you're going to obviously have to work for it. But my parents definitely have to take a lot of place in it, because without them, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today, because I wouldn't have a way to get to practice. They're the ones who pay for my classes. They're the ones paying for my fights. And just when we go and travel, I went to Missouri. Of course, like, I had a GoFundMe page for that, and all my family and all my friends, everyone helped me get out there. And without them, it wouldn't be possible for what I'm doing.
All right, Shaniyah Carlson in the Warriors Den with the Sports Warriors. Anything you want to tell the fans going out here as one reason why they should look at you and continue to progress in this MMA career?
One thing you guys should always know about me is there's not going to be anyone like me, and there is no one like me. And if you're in the MMA world, be ready.
All right, so
not lacking confidence.
No, not at all. Not at all. But Shaniyah Carlson, thank you for joining the Sports Warriors. An absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and continue to rock and roll and collect more titles. Take that 100 pound division title right there.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to go to a break. This is Sports Warriors, Shawn and Tristan Ducross. Right after this, UFC 228 talk. We got Tyrone Woodley taking on Darren Till. The question is, does that boy even make weight again? 2 times he's missed weight. Does he even deserve a title shot? Stay tuned for our opinion on that and our preview on that card. We'll be right back. You're now listening to the Sports Warriors with Shawn and Tristan Ducross every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You want all your local amateur MMA news? You want a new fresh take on pro MMA? This is your show every Wednesday on IELiveTV.com and Facebook Live.
Hello, I'm Lyle Murdoch of IE Live TV. Have you ever had an idea or dreamt about producing your own show? Or maybe you just have an event that you'd like to make available online? Then contact us here at IE Live TV. We are using the latest technology in live streaming and top quality video equipment in our productions. Servicing all audio and video needs, our systems are compact, wireless, and completely mobile, so our presence is barely noticeable. Here at IE Live TV, we're doing high quality audio and video productions at a fraction of the cost of other production studios. To find us, just go to www.ielivetv.com or give us a call at 866-831-5737. IE Live TV for quality live video streaming.
I'm Tristan Ducross, one half of the Ducross brothers. Let me talk to you about Phantom. Phantom is bringing you closer to the field every day with their Facebook page. From sports, from MMA combat sports, to basketball, to baseball, to soccer. We got every sport covered, from fans to professionals. Just go to www.watchphantom.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sports Warriors, the Ducross brothers, Shawn and Tristan Ducross. Shawn, huge fight coming up over the weekend. We got UFC 228 about to go down. Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till for the title. But is it really deserving? Are we really talking about a good fight that was made on good intentions? And I say that because when we talk about Darren Till, this is a guy that has missed weight twice. And we're not talking about like a couple pounds. We're talking about a handful of pounds. This dude has missed weight multiple times. Yet here he is. Colby Covington gets pushed aside. Belt stripped. Insert, now we got Tyron Woodley, Darren Till. In my honest opinion, I'm looking at this, and this fight should not be happening with Darren Till. Because he hasn't proved anything to anybody about whether or not he can make weight in a championship fight. And here he is in one. When you're talking about Darren Till, one of the things that stood out to me was one of the most ridiculous comments I think I've ever heard, was that Darren Till wasn't making weight because he wasn't getting the money in the fights that he wanted. So he didn't care to make weight. Now there's speculation because he's fighting Woodley for a title, because of the fact that he's in a big fight, he will make weight because he's getting the money that he wants. If he does come in and he does make weight, then I feel very sorry for Tyron Woodley, because of the fact that you've got Darren Till that stands over Woodley like this. Like, it is freakishly scary of how tall Till is over Woodley. And you go back and you look at Tyron Woodley. It's like, I get, everybody says this guy's one of the top welterweights. Everybody loves him. But at the end of the day, he struggled against Wonderboy Thompson. When he struggled against that, he struggled against the distance. He was afraid to strike with a striker. You're looking at Darren Till. Darren Till is maybe more aggressive, probably a little bit more skilled, I think, than Wonderboy Thompson. And you look at that, you're looking about, well, what Tyron Woodley are we going to get? Tyron Woodley says that he's going to go out and he's going to put an end to Darren Till. That this is the biggest fight in his career, and then he's going to show exactly why he's the top welterweight and why he's pound for pound the best welterweight in the division. But how can you? What's interesting about this matchup is that Darren Till, fighting at welterweight, naturally a middleweight fighter, okay? That's where the big weight difference that I have. I always have issues when you're looking at a fighter who is weight cutting so drastically, and coming fight time, this dude's going to walk around probably about a little over 180, give or take. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a big middleweight taking on a welterweight. And I just think that's a glorified version of cheating when you see a big middleweight that should be fighting at middleweight, cutting down weight, hitting a guy that's in welterweight division only to get blown back up when he comes fight time. And he's also said, Darren Till, what nobody's talking about either is that Darren Till has made it perfectly clear that he's going to take the strap from Woodley and then relinquish and vacate that title and go to middleweight. Well, you know what's interesting is that you look at the breakdown of what the odds are for these two. Tyron Woodley is minus 110. You've got Darren Till who's minus 120. Basically, they're the same. So not even the odds makers know how this fight's going to go. You look at Tyron Woodley, in his last 9 fights, he's 7-1-1. The last time he knocked somebody out was before his first Wonderboy Thompson fight. Other than that, his fights has either gone to decision, gone to a draw, have been lackluster. He held the record for the least amount of strikes thrown in a fight. Let's all not forget about that one. So how is it that on Saturday you can justify to a fan on why you're buying this pay-per-view? Because outside of Darren Till and Tyron Woodley, who else is fighting on the card? Right? You got Zabib,
versus Brandon Davis. You got Valentina Shevchenko versus Nico Montano. And again, you're looking at those two. Valentina lost already once. Already has trying to figure out how many other times is she going to get a fight, and all of a sudden the fight not happen. This fight was supposed to happen all the way back on July 7th. July 7th, she was told the fight was going to happen, and then Nico said, "Nope, I'm not interested yet." Fast forward to July 28th, she gets the phone call. "Hey, we're going to put you against Nico." Nico says, "Nope, I'm not feeling well. I'm not ready yet. Let's keep going again." Here we come all the way to August. Shevchenko, if I'm her, I'm trying to figure out if, come weight time, is she going to step on the scales?
When you're the champion, you hold the flyweight belt. I get that the Bullet is 15-3 and she's one of the most premier strikers, but at some point, you only can duck and dodge for as long as you can. Because, like you heard it earlier, was that our girl is even finding it hard for her fights at the age of 15 for women. So if you are finding it hard for women to find fights and to get quality opponents, this doesn't surprise me why there's an issue right now with the transition of who's going to fight who.
Also, think about the issue right now. So women in general have never really have the easiest time of doing weight cuts. I get it. Shevchenko is still going to be the first time that she's going to actually fight at flyweight, and she's walking around right now. She doesn't have to cut 0 pounds. So again, when you're looking at a fighter that is as good as her, not have to weight cut, there's going to be a little bit eerie kind of feeling from Nico where she's thinking, well, I have to make weight. Health reasons, I need to watch out for myself, when another fighter doesn't have to do a weight cut. Now, we've always been the advocates for just fight at your normal weight, especially nowadays with the California State Athletic Commission putting stamps on everybody, whether or not, well, how much percentage weight are you missing going in? If you miss in double digits, you're going to be flagged, you're going to be caught, and then you're going to be written into a little document about whether or not you're going to stay at your current weight or move up.
You're looking at the odds for Nico versus Valentina is that Valentina is minus 1,200. That is the biggest discrepancy between a non-champion taking on a champion I've ever seen. Nico is a plus 700 underdog. So if you want to make a lot of money, bet on Nico. Because she has a chance of winning you a ton of money if she goes ahead and wins and defeats the Bullet. So you've got to see the transition here of what's going on in the UFC. But man, I'm just not down to see this fight get ordered because of the fact that the only key fight is Woodley versus Till. You're putting a lot of chips into Tyrone Woodley that he's going to sell this card. I'd be curious to see about what this is going to happen at the buy rate when it comes out on Monday.
Man, what they should have sold was Diego Sanchez fighting at 175, no weight cut, still sounding like he's punch drunk. And here, nobody's talking about Diego Sanchez. Yet this dude has had over 20-something fights.
The fact that Diego Sanchez still feels like he can, if he wins this fight, he's still in line for a future title shot.
You have the name Diego Sanchez. You're not even cutting weight right now. But the thing is, so his guy, I believe it's White who he's fighting, but he's walking around at 175. He's going to be about 177 come fight time. His guy that he's facing is going to be 187 come fight time.
That's crazy.
Diego Sanchez is a small guy. Make no mistake about it. But a 175 normal, natural walk-around weight blew him up to about 177 come fight time, taking on a bigger, stronger fighter at 187 come fight time.
So what it sounds like to me is that Diego Sanchez is going to get knocked out.
Diego says that he feels great. Best that he's had in years. But
Diego
that's probably
Sanchez
because
says he feels great about every fight he goes into.
Yeah, but Diego doesn't even have to do a weight cut right now. Like, Diego's walking around at 175.
Diego Sanchez has not been the same guy since the last time he came walking out, where he had this stone cold look on his face and he was slapping himself silly the whole way.
Very true.
Not been the same.
Jim Miller's on this card. Same thing that you're going around with Diego Sanchez. Both guys, man, I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, UFC, you want to see somebody die, you're going to see either Jim Miller or Diego Sanchez on this card. Either one of them are not making out on their own power.
So what do we have? A Crossroads pay-per-view?
Right?
Let's dig up everybody that hasn't competed in a while. Throw them on a pay-per-view. Hopefully the pay-per-view is going to sell. John Dodson is fighting Jimmy Rivera. That was the only other fight that piqued my interest, but this one's like on the prelims. Like, why is this fight on the prelims? I get that John Dodson competitively isn't all there, but the guy is 3-3 in the last 6 fights. But if you look at his record, he's due to lose. So it was perfect fitting to throw him against Jimmy Rivera because of the fact that he's 3-3. His last fight he won, and then he's due to lose. He's one lost. Now he's due to lose because his last fight he actually won. So I was like, well, if you're playing the odds here, which the odds are Rivera is the favorite at -150 and Dodson is 120, so the easy bet, show me the easy money, Jimmy Rivera. It was one of those things that I was like, the card doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, you basically got Dana White that threw out this card and every other card the other day by saying that Conor McGregor's fight card is going to do $2 million. So every other card leading into that is a wash.
But yet at UFC 229, Conor McGregor has yet to show up at any media, yet to talk about on his Instagram or his YouTube channel. And
that'll be definitely something we start to touch on here as the weeks start approaching, as October 6th is, I wouldn't say not even a month away now.
Sean, but we're talking about Conor McGregor not talking to anybody. You threw out UFC 228. Woodley, Till, threw it out. You don't care. Focus on UFC 229. But your main power, your main star power, isn't even showing up.
He told everybody he wasn't going to do any media rounds.
So
it shouldn't surprise you.
Where's his head at? We're talking about Khabib. Probably the biggest fight of his career, not knowing what happened in the boxing world. You're talking about Conor McGregor. Is his head all in?
We're going to find out here, but one thing that we are going to find out is just how all in Oscar De La Hoya really is.
You have to say it like that?
You set it up. I just went with it.
But I just have to say real quick, congratulations to Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. Just got to say it. All in. All in too, maybe, possibly. But yes. Sorry, Sean, had to.
You're so corny when it comes to wrestling. Swear to God.
Hey, part of combat world, still intertwined somehow, some way.
Next thing I know, you're going to get wrestlers coming on the show.
That would be pretty cool.
No, don't even get any ideas. With that,
midget wrestlers? Are you kidding me?
No.
Sean's afraid of midget wrestlers.
Goes to midget wrestling.
Oh, I know. Our boss goes to see midget wrestling. I'm totally aware. There was Midget Mania that was in Temecula, California that I told my brother. My brother's like, no, not going. Why not? You scared of midgets?
Let's just go to commercial.
We're going to go to commercial here. We're the Ducross for the Sports Wars. My brother's afraid of little people. So we'll be right back with more combat sports talk. We got Oscar De La Hoya making rounds. Finally just starting to get the momentum and the ball going as he announced the date and the venue for Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell 3. More with the Sports Wars, the Ducross brothers, right here in the Warriors Den right after this. You're now listening to the Sports Wars with Sean and Tristan Ducross every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You want all your local amateur MMA news? You want a new fresh take on pro MMA? This is your show every Wednesday on IELiveTV.com and Facebook Live.
Hello, I'm Lyle Murdoch of IE Live TV. Have you ever had an idea or dreamt about producing your own show? Or maybe you just have an event that you'd like to make available online? Then contact us here at IE Live TV. We are using the latest technology in live streaming and top quality video equipment in our productions. Servicing all audio and video needs, our systems are compact, wireless, and completely mobile, so our presence is barely noticeable. Here at IE Live TV, we're doing high quality audio and video productions at a fraction of the cost of other production studios. To find us, just go to www.ielivetv.com or give us a call at 866-831-5737. IE Live TV for quality live video streaming.
Welcome everybody to the Warriors Den. We are the Ducross Leather Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. On my side, as always, my partner in crime, the one and only Shawn Ducross. Shawn, finally we got the date nailed. We got the venue nailed. Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz 3. And we were talking earlier to our producer, and he's like, dude, who's the big bald-headed dude? See that picture? That was actually the confrontation when it was officially announced.
At the UFC event.
Yes.
Which was weird. Like Oscar De La Hoya sets
you have
this
some
up,
balls,
and they face off at a UFC venue. Like you've got to have some set of cojones on you to go into another person's promotion
and say we're going to have the two big stars in a hotel square off, where media was like, whoa, 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 what's going on? Why is Tito Ortiz over there and why is Chuck Liddell over there? And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're bum rushing each other right to the center.
And then next thing you know, the media erupts, and then you've got this stare down.
Yeah.
One of the most epic moments in MMA history when you look at these two juggernauts. And a lot of people are like, oh, this fight can't be sanctioned. California State Athletic Commission can't let this happen because Chuck Liddell's been knocked out 3 times in his last 8 fights. He can't fight. He's old. He's been out of the game for 8 years. This isn't competitive. But dude, they ran him through EKG. They ran him through heart tests.
Yeah.
They ran him through neurology. It's like they did their homework to make sure this is on the up and up.
The medical background that both these two have taken has been incredible, because you're talking about CT scans. You're talking about just a whole body of blood work. You can't tell me that these two are not ready, because they have been practicing. Although I'm a little worried about the stand-up, about Chuck's stand-up.
Looks awkward, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It looks like this dude hasn't fought in years. Oh, wait. That's right.
He hasn't fought in 8 years.
That's right. Sean Merriman looks like he can throw a better punch at this point and get ready for his bare-knuckle debut. But you're talking about Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz 3. Ultimately, the era has to be ended some way, somehow.
But really, something like a decade later, you really got to end it now?
Dude,
you
are just seriously setting up these WWE references left and right, because you got right now, you got in Australia, the Australia Super Show, you got the Undertaker versus Triple H, end of an era. Go ahead, continue.
End of an era. Here, 3. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz.
Yes.
But what's interesting is the one thing about Oscar De La Hoya has always been is a mastermind. For years in boxing, you always saw Don King and what he brought to the game. And it was an evolution of boxing that not many people saw at the time when Don King came. Then when you looked at Oscar De La Hoya and he came into the fight game, it was the same type of feeling. Like, what is he going to do? What is he going to bring to the forefront of boxing?
And I'm kind of getting that same kind of feeling right now.
He's doing now with MMA, and he said it in his media rounds, was that, you know what? I took my time when I got into boxing. I'm taking my time when I get into MMA. And everybody's like, well, why this fight? Well, you sit back and you look at the brainchild of this. What is Bellator doing? Bellator has put on these style of fights, of these grudge matches that have been hidden away for a decade. Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie. Bringing back Fedor. The list goes on of guys that, whether fight fans believe it or not,
and also people,
they want to be able to see this.
Shawn, but this was also pitched to the UFC and to Bellator, and both of them were shot down. So it's not like something that Goldenboy just all of a sudden say, you know what, I want to do this.
No, there was other parameters that was involved in this, and one of them ties into was money, was the money aspect.
Absolutely.
Because he believes that these two stars are going to make more money than anybody in the history of combat sports. And we're talking about the box office draw in Conor McGregor and what he's been able to do. We've talked about what Floyd Mayweather has done for boxing. But what we fail to understand is what has the mastermind behind this in Goldenboy and Oscar De La Hoya, what he has been able to do. He wants to be able to say, you know what? I had my hand in the cookie jar when we flipped the MMA world on its head for every MMA fighter. I can guarantee you, when the books open after this fight, from the gate to the pay-per-view buys to the streaming service to the ticket sales are going to be through the roof. And remember, both these fighters get a little over 50% of everything of the bottom dollar.
It's going to be in LA. It's going to be November 24th. It's going to be at the Coliseum. What better area for this to happen than in Oscar De La Hoya's own backyard of LA? And the ability that he has to draw everything. Fox Sports is out there. ESPN is out there. He's got everything. Basically, here you go. Have at it. Want to know what was interesting? Is that he said in one of his media rounds, why did you get into MMA? Because I'm sick and tired of fighters coming to me and saying that I'm not getting paid.
Right.
And then he comes out and says, well, Liddell and Ortiz is going to receive pay-per-view money, gate money, and everything else related to the event, which means merchandise, which means whatever else they're going to get.
And go ahead.
These two guys are going to be paid more than anybody else has in the MMA game, according to Oscar De La Hoya.
And when you look at the purse breakdown on how it is in the UFC, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but when you look at UFC payout, the UFC payout, they don't get a lump sum, here you go, this is thrown. They don't get a portion of their merchandise. They don't get a huge portion of their merchandise sales. They do not get any ticket sales unless they're on the bottom card. So at some point, as a fighter, you have to look at the longevity of the sport. And if you want to make money, we've always said, go overseas. You'll make plenty enough money because you got the got the mobs, you got the Asians and stuff like that it's running rub shot through the back east. That's everything that you want money.
Or just leave the UFC. There's other promotions out there that'll get you more money. Here is an interesting stat. Did you know that a third of the UFC fighter pay comes from an undisclosed source?
Yep. Shocking.
What the heck does that mean? So what is the unnamed source?
The unnamed source is exactly what I just said a few moments ago, is the gambling, is the backyard kind of mob situation that you have. Nobody ever wants it. Everybody fails to understand that MMA, as much as I love our sport, it can be sometimes very crooked and very sideways as a sport if you don't have the people around you. And when you look at what goes on, the unnamed source where the money kind of comes from, it has to come from casinos. And 90% of the casinos are ran by back-ended dealers. So think about that little nugget for a second, because that's where it is. Goldenboy is laying everything out on the line. You want money? This is where your money's coming from. You want to get paid? This is how you're going to get paid. And come November, this is where it's going to be.
What are you trying to say, Tristan? That Oscar De La Hoya is here to try to clean up a sport that's been flawed for many years?
Somebody has to. Somebody has to.
So then let's just call him the cleaner. Even though he doesn't exactly have the best background to be talking there. Like this guy has been in more legal troubles than this side of the coin. You're talking about a guy that has had legal troubles, and he's siding with a guy who's had legal troubles.
But at the end of the day, money rules everything.
Money talks, BS walks, I guess.
Yes. At any point in time, you need to make money. It's always the end game about money. Regardless if it's in your personal life, outside endeavors, you're being an athlete, it's always about money at the end of the day.
When you get to a certain level, money becomes the end of the means. That's what you want to achieve. Amir Khan fights Samuel Vargas this weekend. And that fight was interesting to me because, like, this whole weekend is fight week. You've got 2 big fights. You've got, in boxing, you got Amir Khan, Samuel Vargas. You got Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter. You got UFC 228. But you're talking about money. And Amir Khan fights Samuel Vargas. Nobody knows who Samuel Vargas is.
But isn't that the scary thought?
But
because
Samuel
we saw Angela Hill take on a girl named Courtney, and Courtney won.
Courtney Casey, yeah.
And now you look at Samuel Vargas versus Amir Khan, and think about it, this could be the end of Amir Khan. And if he does not put his game plan together, if he does not come out and be the Amir Khan that we all know he can be, it's lights out. Samuel Vargas wins this and an upset, and the future is no longer bright for Amir Khan, and his title aspirations is done.
Yeah, and you're looking at Amir Khan, who just came off a fight, destruction of Phil DeGreco, in what was one of the quickest knockouts in his career. Then he signs on the dotted line to fight this guy. And I say this guy because, yeah, you know what? He is 29-3 with 14 knockouts. But this guy, not many people know, he's actually ranked top 10 in the WBA. His notable losses only came against Earl Spence Jr. And you look at it, it's like, oh, wait, he also lost to Keith Thurman. His only guys he's lost to
have been
were the
top
upper
fighters.
Echelon guys.
Right.
Where does Amir Khan solidify him that? And Amir Khan is talking about getting that money. He's talking about, well, there's nobody worthy of fighting at 147. I want to get my money. I want to get paid. There's only one guy at 147 he can fight, Manny Pacquiao. So did he take this fight as, okay, you know what? Yeah, I've fought a softball against Phil DeGreco. I'll up a little bit
and take on a guy that has a little bit more skill.
But at the end of the day, my end is I got to fight Manny Pacquiao. But the problem with that is that if you're talking about money and that's your fight,
that's not a money fight.
Then no, it is a money fight, but not a money fight for him. Because when you negotiate with Manny Pacquiao, you negotiate for far less. Manny Pacquiao takes 80-40.
And hopefully he doesn't pull, Amir Khan wouldn't pull like a Harris and walk out of the building during mid-fight.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense either. But I was going with it. I was just showing the big discrepancy either way. But you look at that and you're talking about money. That's not a money fight. You're talking about Amir Khan who turned down an Earl Spence Jr. fight. And Earl Spence Jr.
nobody
said,
want to fight Earl.
Right? But Earl Spence said, I'm the IBF champion.
Which is the #1 champion in boxing.
Go ahead, fight me. And Amir Khan said, no, I'm good, and fought DeGreco at that time. So now he's at an evolution that he cannot achieve anything else. He's talking about these big paydays. There's nothing there.
No,
he can talk all he wants, but at the end of the day, if he talks all this jargon, Samuel Vargas is going to come in and put him in his place.
Okay,
Don't be surprised if there's a 5th round knockout that saw Vargas shock the world.
You want to talk about a shock? How about we go to Danny Garcia versus Shawn Porter in that situation? Because you're talking about there's not a lot of money fights made. Yeah, because everybody is being paired up right now. You're looking at right now 2 of the best 147 division fighters right now in Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia.
I'm really digging the shirt, though. From
Really?
Danny Garcia.
From Danny?
It's legit.
I'm digging the hair from Shawn Porter. Digging the hair.
I mean, their styles
I don't have much hair, but I'm digging the hair. I'm just saying.
Their style is very reminiscent of what they're going to bring. You've got Shawn Porter, who's dressed more clean cut, and his style is more aggression. He will try to close the distance.
You're looking at Danny Garcia, who's more technical, more of your sound fighter.
So he can be a little bit more flashy in his style because he can be a little bit more reckless. He can sit back. He's more of a pure counter striker in this aspect that, dude, if you're Shawn Porter and you're pressing that action like you did against Keith Thurman, you're going to watch Danny Garcia pick him apart. Danny Garcia has more power in his hands than Shawn Porter does.
Shawn Porter's game plan, the one thing that this guy needs to do is establish his left jab.
Be relentless.
He has to set up his left jab, move forward, get this fight to be a nasty, aggressive fight, and he'll be okay. If Danny Garcia can use his footwork and his range and move around the squared circle, Shawn Porter is in for a world of pain, because that's one of the things that I do not like about Shawn Porter is that his footwork is nothing compared to Danny Garcia. And if you get him to move, you get him to open up, you get the wild punch, the wild reckless Shawn Porter, counter's going to be there all day. Danny Garcia will end this fight. It will be via KO, because the only way this does not end via knockout is if Shawn Porter takes this fight to the distance.
Yeah, it's gonna. Shawn Porter has to win this by going to distance. Garcia needs to win this by a knockout. This is for the vacant WBC welterweight title was vacated by Keith Thurman.
Were you
Keith
surprised?
Thurman is being talked about that now he won't even fight till next year.
Correct.
So
Injuries after injuries or contract issues, it doesn't matter. He was stripped of this title, of the WBC title, so that's what's on the line here.
Due to injuries.
Right.
So at some point, these two guys, whoever wins this title, will have to defend it against the guy who never really lost it. So while we got a big fight in Garcia versus Porter, we got a potential good start to the next year in 2019. Ooh, that sounded so weird. But 2019, one of these guys is going to fight Keith Thurman. Whether he's healthy or not remains to be the question.
What do you think, though, about Danny Garcia being the odds-on favorite here versus Shawn Porter, when you would think it would be the other flip of the coin where Shawn Porter would have been the favorite? You can't argue either way. They're very good. In terms of where they are at, they're 1A and 1B. They're it in the welterweight division outside of Keith Thurman. There's nobody else there. That's why these two are fighting. But again, if you are Danny Garcia and you are Shawn Porter, whoever wins this fight, if Keith Thurman's not ready, how much longer are these two going to be willing to duck Earl Spence Jr.? I think at this point, now you look at what PBC just signed, their huge deal with Fox and Showtime, signing where they signed with Fox, where they will have 12 championship fights on Fox. They will have, I think, something like 15 on FS1. They will have over fights on Showtime. This is now where the money grab is. Every single person is going to be lining up with Premier Boxing to try to figure out where they're going to slot. Al Heyman, dude, whatever you negotiated with the record-breaking deal that you did is pretty incredible in itself for boxing, because boxing's been on the forefront for a while.
You know, one thing we've been talking about is that when it comes to boxing, you got to give the fight fans an opportunity to know the fighters. That was a great thing about why the Contender's back on Epics.
Did anybody even know that Contender came back?
Probably not, unless you got Epics or you follow boxing. But that shows you another side to a fighter. Well, with the new PBC deal with Fox, they're going to do 175 hours of original programming. I hope that when you take that block, you give it back to the fighters to show the fight fans about why they need to go ahead and start watching for X, Y, and Z. Because fight fans don't follow fighters unless they know who they are. If they don't know who you are,
because we live in the social media age,
you're not going to get a good buy rate. Ask the UFC and all their champions. It means nothing. So you've got to know who they are. So I hope with the 175 hours, they go ahead and showcase that.
And I'm hoping that the Contender series is where they're kind of starting to go with this, is that you got to give these fighters a platform to actually talk and carry themselves.
Well, that's the one thing why we like to do what we're doing now, since getting with David Bramlett and IE Fight Night, October 20th, by the way, going down in Ontario.
Love the plug. Love the plug. Just throw it out there.
Is that when you look at the transition period of where we are and the top big three people that talk MMA, you got to give back to the amateur circuit. These are the future. These are the rising stars. Shaniyah Carlson, who was on the show earlier, rising star. That's what we're talking about. People getting to know other fighters, whether they're young, whether they're old. It doesn't really matter. You've got to give them an opportunity to discuss the future and the outcome of how they can get their next level to here, so fight fans will already know who they are, so they can already start to sell and establish themselves at a different place in time than what other fighters are just saying, you know what, I'm just here to fight. Well, that's cool. But if fight fans don't know who you are, then why do they even care? Exactly. Why are they going to buy a pay-per-view? Why are they going to watch TV? Why are they even going to be in this world? Why? Ask yourself that. But next week, Shawn, I have to throw it out there a little bit. Don't drop. I'm not going to name drop yet. But we will have a guest on our show next week that, as of right now, will change combat sports and make an announcement that hasn't been made yet official. And we will be the people that will break that news to the combat sports world. We're the first. We will be the first as they come on to break the news that will probably change the world of combat sports, because time to think outside the box, just like your boys, Shawn and Tristan, do Cross the Sports Wars. Till next time, we do this every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Catch us on the flip side. Like us on Facebook, Shawn and Tristan do Cross. Hit up our fan page, The Do Cross Bros, IALiveTV.com. We do this every Wednesday. www.docrossbrothers.com. IE Fight Night. David Bramlett, Lorenz Larkin. October 20th.
October 20th.
Still looking for fighters.
Right. Get at them. You want to be on this card. You want to be a champion. Earn your stripes. Pay your dues. Grab a title. Till next time, we're out of here.
You're now listening to the Sports Wars with Shawn and Tristan Ducross every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You want all your local amateur MMA news? You want a new fresh take on pro MMA? This is your show every Wednesday on IELiveTV.com and Facebook Live.
Hello, I'm Lyle Murdoch of IE Live TV. Have you ever had an idea or dreamt about producing your own show? Or maybe you just have an event that you'd like to make available online? Then contact us here at IE Live TV. We are using the latest technology in live streaming and top quality video equipment in our productions. Servicing all audio and video needs, our systems are compact, wireless, and completely mobile, so our presence is barely noticeable. Here at IE Live TV, we're doing high quality audio and video productions at a fraction of the cost of other production studios. To find us, just go to www.ielivetv.com or give us a call at 866-831-5737. IE Live TV for quality live video streaming.